Good morning, YouTube. It's Scott from Alan's Family Projects. Back from a long hiatus from videos. Stopped working on the 79 Ford because just had a few issues, so I quit recording from it. And with the cold weather came in, and for a change here in Kentucky, we're actually having a winter. The winter just got too cold down in the barn, so we're putting down hiatus until the spring. Want to introduce another project. That's why the channel name I chose was Allen Family Projects, because we have plenty of them going on around here. Today I'm going to introduce the 89 Ford. It's in my corral. It is been in the family for a long time, from about 1990. My uncle bought it as the second owner, I believe in 90 or 91. Drove the snot out of it until it looked pretty much like it does today. He plowed snow with it, spread salt on parking lots. He pulled commercial lawnmowers with it. It was well used, and I'm not sure of the time frame of that. But he then gave it to his father, my grandfather, who drove it until his death. And then, due to what is normal in the world these days too often, is that it sat for 5 years because of getting the state settled. When they were about to finish that up, I asked around what they were going to do with the truck, and they basically were going to just try to give it away, more or less, get $50 or $100 out of it. And I said, you know, if you'll let me have it, I'll take it and drive it. It was in driving condition at the time, minus the brakes. When I started it up for the first time, realized the brake lines had rusted into the front lines, front half of the brake lines. I replaced those. The more interesting part of the story is that after sitting for 5 years with gas in the tank, I did not drain the tank. I put in a new battery. It cranked over and started. And short of the air injection pump for the pollution control, it worked fine. That was locked up. We shut it off. Took a large either channel locks or pipe wrench, I don't remember now, and broke that pulley loose, and it ran fine. So I towed it home, put new brake lines on it. You can see those there. Those are all new. That master cylinder was put on new by my grandfather before he quit driving it. Had new brakes on the front. Anyway, with that little bit of work and an oil change, I drove it for a daily driver for a while my car was in the shop after an accident. But the poor old thing now is just needing some TLC. It's time for some work. It's got a terrible exhaust leak. It has had ever since I've had it. It's got shorty headers on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see those or not down in there. The gaskets, I believe, are just completely gone on those. So it's incredibly loud and obnoxious. But what moved me forward on it was trying to drive it the other day to get some parts for the 79 actually. And I had a terrible miss. And so therefore it is time for a tune-up. And in the process of that, trying to diagnose and look at my plugs, I tried to pull this one out, and it broke off. This is before I even put a wrench on it. This is just trying to twist the wire to get it loose. You can see the rust. It just rusted plumb in two. The front of this truck is just covered in rust. The frame and stuff from spreading the salt. So that's our project for now, is to get that plug out and all the other ones out and spark plugs in, and hopefully that will take care of our miss. We're dealing with a 5-liter truck engine. Some people, I guess you call it a low low performance version of the 5-liter, but stuff old engine. It's got lots and lots of miles on it, about 180,000 miles on it, but still going strong. I'm sure it's lost some power and fuel economy, but it's still going well. The air conditioner has been removed by my uncle a long time ago. Well, I will eventually fix that. But the long-term plan of this vehicle is, I've got a small travel trailer that I'll introduce at a later day because it's also a project. But my long-term plan for this is to repair the rust and paint it. Has the typical Ford cancer right here. The red paint has been bad for 20 plus years. Little corner of the tailgate rusted out. I'll probably replace the tailgate with one off a newer model because up to 96 will fit. I got a little rust there, and another of the Ford cancer spots. But overall, the truck is not in terrible condition besides the things I've pointed out. Here's the interior, incredibly dirty right at the moment, but as you can see, I've got no cracks in the dashpad. I have a hole in the seat, but it was a lariat for the day, which always struck me odd. It didn't have power windows, but it does have cruise control that still works. Had the factory air that I will fix. It's not the factory radio, but the speakers are rotted away on it, so it will go away soon. Headliner's still intact. All in all, it's not a bad little truck, and that's why I did not want it to escape from me. So, if the rain holds off, I'll get to work on this plug. But in order to do that, I am going to strip all of this down off of this inner fender. And remove it and see if that affords me a fair amount of room in there for the work on the engine where the spark plug is broken off. If that's not sufficient, I'm going to go ahead and remove the fender itself, because I am working on those headers, and it's been my experience that an exhaust manifold bolt almost always will break off. So I just want to get as much room as I can in there. Started to pull the whole doghouse off, but I decided that the core support in the front being removed was not going to give me any more room for where I'm working, so we're not going to do that. So like I said, if this rain will hold off, we're going to get some wrenches out here and see what we can get done. I'll check in with you in a little while. Okay, first couple of things, reminders and surprises. See that hexagon that is very old and faded K&N air filter sticker? I've forgotten that my uncle did that way back in the day, back when the K&Ns were all the rage. Here is it said filter, and it is extremely gross and dirty. Sure, that does not help the poor old truck at all. The other surprise I just discovered, taking the airbox lid off, and thanks Ford so much for making it so difficult that there's 4 bolts you have to remove to change your air filter, but that's beside the point. All those little paper squares are supposed to be in a filter right there. Yeah, when you're doing maintenance or driving an old truck that's been sitting a while, maybe you should check the air filter. I'm just saying. That being said, we will move on. See you in a minute. Okay, here's where we're at now. Remove the windshield washer box, the air intake, and this bracket here laying there holds that air box and helps hold the washer and windshield washer and radiator reservoir. Now I'm going to unplug these wires here off of this bracket, including That is the electronic engine control test plug there. Like I've said in the past videos, these videos are as much for me as they are you guys. I hope you enjoy watching them, but it just helps me to document how things go back together if I don't get back to this soon. So we'll do a little more stripping down. We'll show you the end result. All right, guys, here's what we look like now. I've got everything stripped off that I believe is on that fender liner. All these wires are just laying on top of there. They've got little snaps there to hold them into the fender. I don't know if you can make those out or not. Right there, you can see it. And they're all just laying on top, so take it out from underneath. Back here was, see that rusty mess of a bracket was the vacuum canister. And just to show you how rusty this whole thing is, there it is. Take a foot. That was the top side, which was bad enough looking, but of course you can see it's just completely gone. How my vacuum accessories are working on this thing, I have no idea. Just a testament to, I believe, Ford's electronic ignition and fuel injection system. It just does a whole lot of correction and limping around for you. So it's complicated. Some guys don't like it, say it's complicated to hook up and all this stuff, and I guess it would be, but I sure can't complain. This truck is 25 plus years old now, with very little maintenance in the last 10 to 15 years, and it just kept running and running until the spark plug rusted into. So well, we're going to get back to work here, and if I get the fender liner out, well, I'll take another shot of that. See you in a bit. Ladies and gents, here's what we got with the fender well out. Fender lining, I keep calling the fender well. Same difference, I guess. Lots of room, more room. Wire, all that wiring is still in my way. I'm gonna have to remove that, I think. Unplug it and move it. Getting where I can kind of see the motor there now, but I do not. Sorry about the grunting. I still can get my phone to focus on it. Can't really see the plug up in there. So, sorry about that last little burst there. I was going to say, so I'm going to remove these wires at least, and it looks like I'm going to go ahead and ditch this fender and give myself as much room as I can. Then I can straddle the axle and then do more work. So we'll be back after I get the fender gone. Okay, guys, I couldn't find a quick video on where all these bolts are at on an 89. I found newer videos for newer model trucks, things like that. But so that's how I'm gonna just kind of film this as I go. I'm gonna start with these lower bolts. That'll be easier to reach while the truck's still jacked up a little bit, and then we'll be a lot of start and stopping the video, but it should be a smooth transition after edit. And so the most frustrating thing I have found, they're working on 80s and 90s area cars, is knowing if you're doing standard or metric. This bolt appears to be metric, a 13 millimeter, so we'll get to taking it off, and then we'll move to the next one that I know of. Alright guys, that's one of I don't know how many. Well, I'll stop here and rearrange the camera.